everybody, welcome to Rana's Radar. Now, it has been a busy weekend. Ford Nationals was crazy, it was so much happening, and here we are Sunday on the tail end of the Pontiac show is what I'm going to call it. As you can hear behind me, I am outside the LeConte Center. The award ceremony is happening right now, but there is still a fair few Pontiacs outside. So I'm going to try and grab some interviews, but before we do anything, let's get Paul and Amy here. Come over here, you two. And I love the story it is because they've had this beautiful Pontiac and it's been restored obviously because it looks immaculate since high school. How's it going, you two?
Fantastic.
Love this. First of all, what year is it?
It's a 1969 GTO.
69 GTO. And before we have it look in details, tell me about the car. How long have you had it?
We've had it since 1978. It was my first car in high school, and we took our first date in this car.
Wow.
Many years ago. 40 years ago this July, we drove off in this car from our wedding. And all of our kids have used it in their weddings, so it's just being passed down through the family.
You know, I'm so glad that we connected, and because everything you've said in there, in that sentence, I absolutely love.
Oh, awesome.
There is so much history here, there is so much memories here. The fact that you've had it from high school, it's your first car. We always love classics when it's the first car in high school, you know, because often we hear stories about people going back and finding the car that they had in high school.
Yes.
But you've actually had this. And then, Amy, you've had so many memories in this, not to mention kids and weddings.
And grandkids that are growing up in it.
And growing up.
They always ask me to rev up on Nan or rev the engine up when I pull out of the driveway with the grandkids in the car, like it's something really funny to do.
Wow.
I will tell you a funny story real quick. So our very first date, she was a very classic girl, way above my league, I thought. And
You got lucky.
Yeah. So I asked her out on a date, and this car had really loud exhaust on it at that time, so I pulled up her house just real slow, and on the first date I'm just driving real easy so it doesn't make a lot of noise. But we're on this major road in Knoxville, and this car, a Dodge, pulls up beside us. He takes off real fast from the first red light, second red light, third red light. So by the fourth red light, I'd had enough. I lost my redneck instincts, came back in, man. I'll tell you what, I just nailed it and took off. Well, when I looked over, she was bent forward in the seat. I thought she was crying. I figured she'd never been in a fast car. I thought she was crying. She looked up at me and said, I was wondering how long you were going to take that. I would have dusted him.
Good on you.
She said, I would have dusted him at the second red light.
Good
I
on
said,
you.
That's a girl to marry right there.
Well done, well done. Wow, that is awesome.
I know.
Amy, tell me about yourself. You obviously like fast cars.
I do.
You do?
I do. We have a few. We've got a couple Trans Ams too.
Nice.
So we switch them out every now and then. But
This is
we've
car
had
she
it-
learned to drive a stick
This is
in.
how I learned to drive. The stick shift was on this car.
This
so.
car is not going anywhere,
No.
to say the least.
Nope.
Now, Paul, tell me, 1969 Pontiac, what did it have? You said it had a loud exhaust as well.
Well, it had I bought it used, so
Okay.
in 78, the car was, 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a loud exhaust system on it. The paint was faded out on it, so we had to fix it up. We painted it in 93, so it's been painted for over 30 years. We kept it in this condition.
Wow,
We
you
will have
kept it
had it 45 years. We originally purchased the car from a Pontiac dealer for $900 in Johnson City, Tennessee. We purchased the car.
Wow.
It was after the oil embargo of 74, so all the V8 cars, people were dumping them to buy 6-cylinder engines and 4-cylinder engine cars for fuel economy. So you could buy the old, muscle cars dirt cheap. To me, it was just a car. I didn't even know it was a special car. All I wanted was a convertible.
You just wanted a
And
convertible.
it just happened to end up this, and then everybody told me how cool of a car it was, and it's just sort of how it ended up.
This is looking absolutely phenomenal, everybody. I'm loving the color. There is a lot done to this. Obviously, the body lines are the same, I'm guessing. Yep. Let's have a look under the hood first. And is the hood the same as well with the vents?
Yes, that's called ram air.
Ram
so
air.
You pull a cable under the steering wheel. It gives you supposedly about 10 more horsepower. So the air inducts through here. When you pull the cable, the ram air open, feeds into the top of the intake manifold from these holes. These holes match up to here, and that's the ram air. So you'll hear a lot of Pontiacs talk about ram air.
And that actually increases the horsepower.
Yes. I don't know. Some people claim, the factory claimed about 10 horsepower. It may give you 0. Really don't know. But
Is that an aluminum block? Or is it
No,
iron?
it's iron, and it's painted the
Okay.
Pontiac silver color, which was the popular and original color. That came with the chrome valve covers. The cars really didn't come with too many options. This one is basically just 4-speed. If you paid more money, you got an automatic. But today, the 4-speed's worth more money. Everybody wants a 4-speed.
And what block is that?
That's the 400. What we call the 400 Ram Air 3 engine.
It kind of goes in line with the Ram area. I mean, from my understanding, is the cooler the engine,
Yes,
the higher the horsepower is going to be.
correct.
So, I mean, they were ahead of their time if that's what they were
They really were.
thinking of.
A lot of things were.
Yeah.
I think Pontiac was thinking way ahead of some of the other car manufacturers.
Please keep all personal items in your possession.
And they had a great advertising scheme also with Jim Wangers and that group, the people who promoted the GTO back in the 60s. They, I think the first one, they wanted to compete against the Ferrari GTO. So it was a big marketing campaign to do that. And this is one of the first cars, the year right before this, came with the Endura bumper. So this bumper right here, they had a commercial where they struck it with a sledgehammer and it would pop back without running your paint or putting a dent. This is a rubber material. It's called Endura.
So is that true as a fact that if you were to
I don't know.
We
We've
don't
never
want to
seen
find
it.
out. We don't want to find out.
We're gonna believe we're gonna believe the commercial, but because it was actually considered a safety thing too, because it absorbed energy. So the '68 GTO, right before this car, 1 year before, was Motor Trend Car of the Year, and a lot of people don't remember that.
Okay.
That the '68 GTO was, and a lot of that came from safety features that were on the car.
So these were designed as family cars or sports cars?
They were really sports cars. A lot of guys wanted these cars, and they went and looked at them, but then they bought the station wagon and always wanted the GTO.
Because this is still a full-sized car.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why.
And we've had a lot of kids in it. Back in high school, the thing was we would show up at the local hangout, and as many people as you could have jump in your car, that's how many we rode around with. You know, there was no concern for the safety belts or anything else. You'd be going down the road, people hanging out in the car. I would kill my kids for that today.
That's funny, isn't it? How we think. But hey, I'm loving this and everything you said there, because I don't know too much about the Pontiacs. We haven't seen too many in detail. Obviously, I've learned, the goat. That's what they're known for, and then obviously the Trans Am. And I noticed you've also got a tachometer at the top of the.
Yes, that's
Can we have a
what
look
they
at
call
that?
the hood tack.
The hood tack.
Pontiac used that on some earlier cars, and basically it was made for when you're sitting behind the wheel. If I put
Yeah.
the hood down, you were able to drag race down the road without taking your eye off the road. So if you're looking through the steering wheel as you were sitting in the car,
Oh, yeah.
you would see the tachometer. You would change gears at a certain position, so you never had to take your eye off the road.
Inside of the Compliment Center. Please keep all personal items in your possession and report any suspicious
Again,
activity.
ahead of its time.
Yes.
Because now they're making additions that you can add to any car, where you'll have the
Oh yeah, all the gauges.
all the gauges, like
Yeah.
we saw in Summer Night Cruise at the block party. They had the gauges right up here, so it's just nice and close to you, whatever you're doing.
You'll find Pontiac people are very passionate about their car. A lot less Pontiacs made versus a Chevrolet. So I think if you have a guy or a family that owns a Pontiac, they're very passionate about the car itself.
Well, I'm not surprised. Look how long you guys have had yours for.
Well, and we always say that memories you can't make memories under a car cover. So we don't treat it like a trailer queen. We get out and drag race with it. We've done that. She beat me in a drag race. My dad had a '68 GTO convertible, so we raced in a competition for this car club years ago. And first time she beat me in my dad's car, then we switched cars, and she still beat me in the drag race.
Amy, I love that.
I know too.
Well, they gave her a female driver trophy and everything. I was so excited. I just dropped the clutch, lost traction. She took it up just professionally and beat me both times.
Wow, you've really found your match.
Yeah.
So what do you drive, Amy?
Daily, I drive my Nanomobile.
Yep,
It's a Ford Flex.
nice.
But it's twin turbocharged.
It's twin,
though.
yeah, twin turbo. So it's yeah.
Nana's got a twin turbocharged.
Yeah,
Okay.
But anyway, it hauls all the kids in their gear and all that stuff.
Yep. And when the kids are not around, what do you drive?
So
Anything.
anything really just depends on what we jump in. We've got an H2 Hummer, and he's got a Ford truck, and
I love the fact you've got a variety
Yes.
of the different brands.
yeah.
That is awesome. Now, Paul, when did the restoration begin?
In about 1992, and it was finished in the fall of '93.
Please keep all personal items in your possession.
And we painted it, it's the original Matador red, but my wife, being so keen on
As always, thank you.
looks and everything, we had the guy spray the original color, because when I bought the car, it was faded out, so I really didn't understand what the original color was. So we had him spray the car, just a small section. Oh, it was on a piece of tin he sprayed it on. She looked at it, she said, no, that's too bright. So she asked him to add a tint of black to the paint. So we added just a little bit of black to the red paint. It gives it that little bit darker look.
It really does.
Sometimes when you see the car, like my son's wedding, it appears as a maroon car. Certain light changes with the lighting. So.
But then it's a tad brighter than the maroon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's actually more red than anything.
It's more red, yep.
But since you live in Maryville, you may see us out. We do the mall thing almost every Friday night. We take
Okay.
it out to the Foothills Mall. But you'll see us up in the mountains, towns, and area, driving through the mountains quite a bit and stuff.
That's awesome. And what about the interiors?
The interior is just like it came. We put new seat covers on back in '93.
You've really kept this well.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm thinking kids, someone who has kids herself, like carts can get worn and stuff, but you have kept this really well. So the seat covers, everything is original.
Well, they've been replaced. This is the original design, but I bought a upholstery kit and put new foam, because over the years the foam breaks down. It's not as comfortable.
Okay, now you're making me feel better.
Yeah, so we had new foam and the new seat covers put on.
Fair
On the
enough.
front seats, the backs are all the same.
But otherwise, the layout is a period corrector 69, and so is the dash as well.
The dash is correct.
I love seeing wood on the dash, honestly.
It's just a fun car to drive. And it drives really good. It would surprise you for 1969 technology when you think about a new car today. It just drives excellent.
Wow. And how did you guys like the Pontiac show?
Fantastic.
It was great.
Very
I didn't spend much time in the outdoor part. I brought my parents up, so we spent most of the time inside, but
Well, that's the benefit of
It
the
was
Lake
beautiful.
Center. It's so much more cooler on the inside.
Well, and if you know the history of this show, it was really created for Sierra Blackburn. She fought cancer for quite a few years as a child. She was in St. Jude's Hospital for a long time. And when she passed away, her parents got the idea to do this as a charity event. So the neat thing, a lot of car promoters go out to make money off big shows and everything. There's nothing wrong with that. But their special gift back to St. Jude's is every dime they earn here goes back to St. Jude's.
I had
So
no
this
idea.
could be, $20,000, $30,000. I don't know what
Yeah.
they earn here. Will go back to St. Jude's every year, and that's a hell of a commitment to kids and cancer.
That is awesome. I didn't know that, but we are going to try and have a chat with Mike Blackburn. So he's expecting me today as well. So we were hoping to get a bit more information on the show because it is my first time here. But
Makes the hair on my arm stand up just to think about Sierra and what she meant. And as a little kid, she ran around this show with our kids when it was just a regular Pontiac show. Their kids, our kids all sort of grew up together, and to know the battles that she went through and fought. And now it makes the hair on my arm stand up just think about it.
I love the fact that this show is dedicated to that and that all proceeds, 100% of the proceeds go to St. Jude's, which is just amazing.
And they're doing a raffle day, and I guarantee you, knowing the heart of all these Pontiac people, probably whoever wins the 50-50 raffle day will turn around and donate that money back to St. Jude's.
When is that getting announced?
It's going right now. The award ceremony is going on right now.
We're going to try and catch some of the happy smiles as they walk out of the award ceremony. That's what I'm hoping for, being a latecomer today. So
Well, thank you for the interview. And
I'm so
talking
glad
about
we
our
reached
cars.
out. Thank you so much for waiting for me as well. So nice to meet you guys, and you live in my town.
I know.
You know what? Even though I've come here at the tail end of the Pontiac takeover Pigeon Forge, that's what I'm going to call it, the tail end. But I had to come here and get a little bit of footage from you lot, for you lot, because we love the Pontiacs. I know so many of you guys love it. The awards have just happened, and as you can see, people are just so happy. They got all their trophies here as well.
Here, I got in. I thought, I want to be. It's gonna be good. Until I got here, it's like.
So
oh,
what have
man.
you got here?
No way.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Yes, first place for 73 to 75 Grand Am.
Nice. And you've got your Trans Am here?
A Grand Am.
Oh, a Grand Am.
Grand Am, yes.
Okay, well,
It is here.
we're going to go and have a look at that a little bit more closer and in detail as well.
Okay.
Congratulations. And what about you, sir?
Oh, same thing. Second place, I was around with Don Baird. Second place on the 73 Grand Am as well. This is supposed to be, by the way, this is our 50-year anniversary for the release of the 73 Grand Am.
Wow, and that's awesome. First place and second place, and both the cars are here side by side.
Yeah.
I do get lucky
Yeah, it's pretty
sometimes.
cool.
Okay, I wasn't
Hey, you know
here
what? It's one of
yesterday.
those cars that people have heard of but have never seen, and now we show up in mass for this event of the 50-year reunion of the 73
Well,
Grand
it's
Am.
going to be my first time seeing it, so I'm even more excited about
That's
that.
parked
as
right
well.
down here. Come on, I'll show you the car.
All right, sounds good. And ma'am, what was your name again?
Christy.
Christy, congratulations. What have you got?
I had a third place win in the stock class for 1995 Firebird Trans Am. Its name is Blackfire. It's a 1 of 13 purple car.
Wow. And that's all stock, all original?
All original.
But it's not here.
I'm a little chicken to drive it around here. Crazy
No one,
drivers.
I don't blame you. I do not blame you. But hey, still congratulations for
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
Grand Am and 73, did you say?
73, yeah, it was the introduction of the Grand Am in 1973, 4 and 5. It's a 404 barrel car. They also had it in a 455 and another variation. Some of them were automatic and some of them were 4-speed. Very few were 4-speed. The idea of the release of the Grand Am was to counter the influx of the European market, where you can get all in one car. Road handling, around the curves, performance, comfort, all in one car with the European cars, BMW and so forth. But on the American market, you couldn't do that. Either you get a Corvette or a Cadillac, there was no in between.
Okay.
And then came the Grand Am.
So Pontiac wanted to make a more luxurious.
Exactly.
Okay.
It was like well, how can you put it? Truly a gentleman's muscle car.
A gentleman's muscle car. I'm loving this because I did see this before and I thought the pinstriping might have been something that you would have added in, but that's actually from the factory.
Yeah, exactly. Pontiac is grand on everything. They had the Granville, the Grand Prix, the Grand Safari. So when they put out the new design of the 73 GTO, in the middle of all of that mindset, they changed it as a GTO as an option on the Le Mans, and then the Grand Am will be a standalone to itself. So essentially it turned out to be a GTO with a Trans Am suspension and a Grand Prix interior. Thus the handling capabilities, the muscle car performance, and the comfort of the ride of the Grand Prix.
I love the mean look. Let's have a look under the hood.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That got you excited? I wonder what's in there.
Yeah.
This is so cool. I do my best for you guys. I do my best. From Carlisle, Pennsylvania, Ford Nationals came home last night and I said I had to duck my head in for a couple of hours and see exactly what's going on. I knew the crowds were not going to be there and I knew so many people would have gone home, but if I hadn't have come, then I would never have seen a Grand Am for the first time. Wow.
Yeah, it's one of those cars that some people have heard of. Some people remember somebody else having one when they were younger, but it's not a car that hardly anybody has ever seen.
It's definitely my first, so tell me, what am I looking at?
Okay, you're looking at a 404 barrels and cast iron, cast heads. This is somewhat modified. It's got a cam in it that would... When I put the car together, I was trying to keep with the recipe, the likings of the famous Ram 3 setup from 69 and 70.
Okay.
Of course, these parts aren't available, but when you get with comp cams, they can pretty much do the grind on the cam to come pretty close to that. So it's got a little bit of a thump to it.
And so how long have you had this for?
I tell you what, that's a good question. I look for this. We get as older guys, we want a car back that we had when we were in school.
Yes, I've heard
In
that.
the late 70s, I had the car.
Okay.
And I've never seen another one since then until I finished this one. So for 6 or 7 years, I was looking pretty aggressively for one.
Okay.
I'm one of those guys too, you know?
Yep.
We all are when
Yep.
we get to that age. But I couldn't find it. I finally, I kept going back to Hemmings, and I found it in Hemmings. I bought the car, and then I put it in my shop. I bought the car in 2019, and I put it back there in my shop until I could find time for it. And 2 years ago, I found time. About 20 months ago is when it
Wow.
started. And I worked on the car. I took it all the way down to the chassis, all the way down to the bare frame. Kept the cab on the car, but everything was to the frame horns up here. And they laid on the back with jack stands and just did all the framework that way. And 2 days a week for 20 months, and that's how long the car had been worked on. So I've had the car for a couple of years, but I actually haven't even driven the car yet.
Wow.
My braking, which the purpose
Well,
was
you've
to get...
you've built this in, you restored it for almost a year.
Almost 2
Quick.
years, almost 2 years,
Yeah.
yeah. The purpose was to get here on time.
Yes.
I signed off at 2:30 in the morning a couple of days ago. The truck came and picked it up at 9 a.m. the following day. I've got 148 miles. 148 miles on the break-in.
Nice.
I still haven't driven the car yet. So
Let's have a look at the interiors. And this
yeah,
is
of course.
the interiors are period correct as well.
yeah.
All right, let's have a
It's a
look.
different
I'm so
interior, also
curious.
unique to the Grand Am, except for the fact that it's basically a Grand Prix interior, but the seats
at
are
that
different.
door.
The door panels are different as well. But the dash and the gauges and the console, the angle and the contour of the console,
Yeah, look how different that is.
it's kind of a almost a wraparound.
Wow.
It was also the first car on the U.S. market, and a few other regards too, where that I had adjustable lumbar support, embedded radio antenna into the windshield instead of hanging off of on the fender, windshield wipers that recess below the hood line. Your high beam controls were normally found on the floor with your left foot, but on this, on 73, they introduced the high beam controls on the steering column.
They were
just like
ahead of their time, yeah.
Just like a European car. Oh, when I was 17, 18 years old driving the car back in the late 70s, I kept saying this car is ahead of its time. Now here we are in the 21st century. I look back on that, and that car was ahead of its time
Was
back
way
then.
ahead of
yeah.
its time.
Yeah. It's got a good sized trunk too.
It's a good sized car.
Yeah. It's just low to the
Look at
ground.
that beautiful
It's got a
inside
sway
window.
bar in the front from the factory that's about the size of a telephone pole.
I'm gonna let my windows down and let it cool off for a second.
I went with
All these Grand
urethane
Ams.
suspension components all the way through. Sway bars front and rear, no leaf springs on the rear.
What year?
So it's got coil springs on the rear. I'm looking for the trunk key.
Somebody, did he say that?
This one's obviously not fitting.
There was one over there.
I got it.
You got an arrow? Does that say? Not too close to the
Here it is.
You got it?
Yeah.
That's cool though.
See, I haven't even driven the car yet. I mean,
So
the
you
car's
wouldn't know where the keys
Yeah,
are.
I mean, really, everything's still getting broken
You
in.
better be careful with that because you could lose that. That's a pretty big size, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. This is how the show went. I've got the book that I put together while I was building the car. When the car was released from, when it came into the market, it was test driven by Motor Trend magazine. It said that it was the most fantastic car that they had ever driven to date. It handled like a Corvette, but it rode like a Grand Prix.
Wow.
Yeah, and the performance, like I said, was like that of an American muscle car. They were comparing it to the GTL.
Wow, this is beautiful. 1973, you won first place.
No, I didn't.
No.
That's 73. They're won first place.
Okay, so you won second place,
did.
which is still awesome.
Yeah.
And then the 73 that belongs to your friend, he won first place.
He won first place.
Well, let's go and have a look to see how this judging happens.
Yeah, check out the hood that he has on his car.
Yeah.
His tailpipes, okay, that's unique to the 73, the way they
Yeah.
drop down and they tuck up underneath. His hood is what's called a NACA hood. It's was going to be a functional hood, but by EPA regulations, it actually created too much noise. Sound standard. Why would they
We're
have a
going to
sound?
turn these on.
Yeah, I mean, really. But yeah, his has got the famous NACA hood that is so desirable in these cars.
All right, why don't we have a look at the 73 that won first place, and we'll
sure.
get you both to turn it
Something
on.
unique about the 73 too, you'll notice the flares. The car was originally designed for performance in NASCAR racing. So they had the fenders and were flared to take the bigger wheels. The aerodynamics on the front, almost a fastback for the back.
Okay.
So that the aero can just roll across the top of the car to create more downforce on the back. They actually did run NASCAR in 73 for a half of a season. They were setting track records everywhere they went, pole positions everywhere they went. They were not factory backed. They were using their own money. The engineers that built the car, these team members of the designers of the car from the Pontiac Motor Division were using the money out of their pocket with no factory backing. They ran out of money halfway through the season.
All right.
So they had to close shop. But that car was black. And there's pictures out there. There's a black number 69 73 Grand Am. The 74 and 75, the same car, but different in that it didn't have the flared fenders. Or the little bit of a difference here in the front.
Well, let's get your friend here.
Hey, Don.
Come here, Don. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
First place, 1973 Grand Am.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Thank
How
you.
long have you had it for?
I got the car in 2014.
2014.
Yeah, out of Idaho. I got it from the original owner.
Original owner.
Yeah.
So it was in absolutely original condition.
It was. Everything was there. I didn't have to search for any missing pieces or parts.
Oh, no.
Total-
And it was running, was working?
It was running. Absolutely no rust in the car,
Okay.
which was unusual for these cars.
It is very unusual. You
Yeah,
got
it is.
lucky.
It is. I got very fortunate.
Well, also the fact that it was a one owner
Yeah,
that would have
has a
looked
lot to do
after
with
it.
I spent
Yeah.
4 years restoring it. and been showing it ever since.
All right, so what have you done here? What's kept stock and what has been modified?
Basically nothing. It originally had a solid hood on it with no scoops in it. I did find a hood out of New York. Put that on there a couple of years ago. I tried to keep it as original as possible. Under the hood is the way it came from the factory.
Okay,
Yeah.
and what was the engine? Was it similar again?
400 4-barrel.
400 4-barrel. And why do you have a Pontiac Grand Am?
It was my senior year of high school.
Okay.
My best friend, his dad owned a Pontiac dealership, and we got to drive one in the Christmas parade.
Oh,
I
nice.
fell in love with it. I graduated high school that spring in '74. I found a used one in August. It was a year old. It was a '73. It was the twin to this car.
It was a twin of this car, okay.
I bought it, and this is my fifth one.
This is your fifth one. Exactly same car, exactly same year?
This is my last one.
This is your last. So I'm guessing you drive this and it takes you back to high school.
Yes, it does. And it is the twin to the first one I had.
And it is the twin.
Yeah.
Let's have a look inside.
Okay.
What do you think, in your opinion, made yours get first place?
I think it's a lot of it, not that anybody else didn't pay attention to this, but I tried to keep everything original, attention to detail. I think it's basically what it is.
It's all being very period correct. Let's have a look in here. I mean, they're both two very beautiful cars.
You know, the interior is completely original. The only thing I've done to the interior is replace the carpet and the wood grain.
Those
Everything
seats
else
and everything.
the seats are original, the door panels are original, the dash is original, even the package tray in the rear is original.
So I'm guessing those owners didn't drive it much.
No, he owned a large farm in Idaho. He parked the car in 1990, put it in his barn.
Wow.
Start it once a week, drive it once a month.
You got really lucky.
I did.
Don't we all wish to find classics like that, everybody?
Yeah.
But this is absolutely beautiful. Why don't we turn these on? Let's just see how. I want to see these engines turned on and see which one's louder, I guess. I hear yours is louder.
It'll be the same.
It'll be the same. That's awesome. It may take a couple of seconds to crank it up, but these are original 400 engines. And Donald, there's yours. You've painted the engine block as well.
Yes.
So there are some fine details which
Yes.
would put you over the top. Brilliant. Well, I appreciate this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, everybody, it's always fun seeing some of the later models of the classics that we love. So here at Pontiac's Takeover Pigeon Forge, I'm with Cindy and Donald. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Show us that. Check that out. The awards are still going on, but I was able to grab these two. First place in your division. Come over here, Cindy, and Donald yourself. But Cindy, this is your car.
This is my car.
All right, hon, so what have you got here?
I've got a 2008 Pontiac Grand Prix GXP.
And did you buy it new?
No, we didn't.
Okay, how long have you had it for?
Since 2011.
Since 2011. And were you looking?
My son had wrecked my other Pontiac, and so we went on a mission to find a new Pontiac, and this is the one we found.
And which Pontiac did you have?
We had another Grand Prix.
An 07 one.
Yeah, with 6-cylinder and a supercharger on it.
Nice. And what is it about the Pontiacs that you love?
I'm just a Pontiac girl. I started out with a Sunbird, and now I'm at the Pontiac Grand Prix.
Love it, love it. So tell me about that. Like when you were growing up, obviously you love the Pontiacs. Where does that take you when you think about them or you drive them?
Oh, this was my daily driver for 5 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just a Pontiac girl all the way.
All the way. Now, is this all stock or have we had some modifications done to it?
Basically, all we've done to it is just keep it clean.
Keep it
Man, I did some extensive work under the hood, but basically all it was polish what I had.
Okay. And what is the engine for the
It's
stock
a
2008?
5.3 LS4.
LS4. Nice.
I'll be glad
Very
to pop
nice.
the engine if you'd like to. Just take the camera.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at that LS4. This is not the only award you've won this year.
No, we've won 4 of these.
4 of these.
Yeah.
And for the first place every year for your division.
Yes.
Nice.
For the last 4 years.
Very nice. Oh, nice. Beautiful LS4.
It's all completely stopped, other than the air cleaner.
So good, just to give an idea of exactly what the stock engine is, and this is not just any stock engine, they've put an LS4
It's
in
an
there.
LS4, yeah.
Exactly. Oh, they've done this really well. And how have you guys enjoyed yourself at the show the last 2 days?
Oh, we've had a blast. It's always fun. We look forward to it every year.
I am so jealous because I didn't get to see all the Pontiacs inside the Lecon Center, but I'm so glad to be catching you guys after the award
Well, thank
ceremony
you.
here.
And they'll be back next year.
And
Right
they'll be
here.
back next
right
year.
Here.
We've
Yeah.
already got reservations.
You've already got reservations. That's how it works, isn't it, with the car shows? As soon as it's finished, you got to book again.
Yes.
For next
Yeah,
year.
just call them and say, well, I'll see you next year. And everything.
And what is the plans? Are you planning to bring this back next year?
Oh,
or?
yes, ma'am.
And something else maybe?
No, we
This
just
is our
gonna bring
girl.
that. Yeah. Come
Nice.
back for number 5, hopefully.
Well, you've had 1, 2, 3, and 4, so why not, right?
Keep
That's
the
right.
tradition
Hey.
going.
Sure do, yeah.
Well, you guys have a safe drive. Thank you so
you.
much for this.
Thank you so much.